Our friend and colleague Lynda Bellingham passed away yesterday, so today we reflect on the brave, funny, inspirational woman she was. Jane McDonald and...
Hello, welcome to Loose Women. Thank you very much. And as I was saying to our audience just now, obviously a very sad day for us. The mood here is very different in our studio this morning. Our friend and colleague Lynda Bellingham, as you know, lost her battle with cancer and died in her husband's arms in a London hospital yesterday. But Colin, we were saying, we want this to be a celebration about Lynda as well, didn't we? Because it's very hard for us. She was such fun and so full of energy and verve. We don't want this to be too gloomy today, but we miss her so much and very sad.
I miss her already so much, and it's so hard not to be sad. Yeah. And the only thing that I think will get me through the day is because I can almost feel her behind me whacking me, going, get on with it, stop being sad. And because she was such a strong woman right up to the end, and brave and funny, I read her, I just finished her autobiography, her latest one, and I laughed and I cried.
And as the Oxo mum, we all wanted her to be our mum, didn't we? That's so many of us grew up with that.
She hated the fact that I wanted her to be my mum.
I'm not old enough to be your mum. But you worked with her on the Oxo campaign, didn't you?
Actually, I really love her.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I'm so sad today as well is because she just wanted to make Christmas.
Well, we all said that. The first thing I thought when I heard that was, oh, how awful for her family. And then I thought every interview I saw, and, we're going to be showing ours soon, and she talked to you about it, I know. She kept saying, I just want one more Christmas with my family, with my boys. And that was the saddest thing, I thought.
How are you, girls?
We're fine, darling. How are you?
Well, it's a very strange day. I'm in Bristol doing a charity for the HMT, and I came down last night, and Michael rang me about 4:30 in the afternoon and said, I've got some bad news for you. It's going to be 48 hours. And I said, oh my God, I'll come tomorrow on my way home. And then he rang me 2 hours later, 3 hours later to say that she'd gone. And it's unbelievable, really, because she was such a good friend, as you all know. She was marvellous. She was also a brilliant actress, as you mentioned. The wonderful day that she got her OBE, 20 of us went to lunch and celebrated, and we knew that she was ill then because it was only earlier this year, but she was so strong. And last night was a very difficult night, as was this morning, but I went to bed laughing, and I'm sure she's told it to all of you sitting around that table. And that was the sort of girl she was, and I will remember the laughter, the joy of being with her and laughing, but also the caring person she was. If you were in trouble, if you had a problem, you'd ring her, and she'd be the first to help. She will be greatly lost, and luckily she had Mr. Spain, who was brilliant to the end. The most wonderful, caring, adorable husband that she loved and has been marvellous, and two sons. So she got everything. She got her OBE, she got 2 sons, she got a wonderful husband. And it's a blessing in a way, because we don't want her to suffer any more than she had to in the end.
Well, Biggins, we're sorry. I know she's a very old friend of yours as well, but like you said, she gave you a lot of pleasure. She did all of us. Thanks for giving us your time this morning, and we're so sorry. You right, Cole?
Yeah.
And our love obviously goes to her husband, Michael, and her 2 sons, Michael and Robbie. And I remember when she was here last, she said, go home and tell your family today that you love them. So I think that's one to think about.
October the 22nd, and on Loose Women today, our final farewell to Lynda. Her last visit and interview with her friends and colleagues here at Loose Women. It's both heartbreaking and heartwarming. Plus, profiting from patients, GPs are to be paid up to $200.
Hello at home. Good to have your company today. Thanks for joining. Still to come today, the late Lynda Bellingham's final interview, which was recorded here just 2 weeks ago with Colleen and Janet. Of course, we didn't know then. Sadly, it would be her last interview. We'll show the full unedited version of that for the first time after this. Welcome back. good to have you with us today on Loose Women. And as you all know, our friend and fellow loose woman Lynda Bellingham sadly passed away in her husband's arms on Sunday. And it was just 2 weeks ago, actually. She was right here in this very studio talking to Janet and Colleen about her diagnosis, how she was coping, her plans for the future. And obviously when we did that interview, we didn't know that sadly it would be her last ever one. So here is the first part of what was to end up as the last time that we spoke to her.
Now, when our next guest recently revealed she has terminal cancer, we received over 40,000 messages of support within 24 hours, proving that she is truly the most popular loose woman of all time. Please welcome the beautiful and fabulous Lynda Bellingham.
To chat about. We haven't got time for all this business. Come on then, girls. Ask me, what do you want today? And then I thought, when I was diagnosed, I had to write down all my medicines. Oh, my medicines. I'd open a shop.
Your book, I got your book yesterday, and I started reading at 2 o'clock, and I finished at 7:30 last night when I texted you. And you're right, it takes it, there's so much positive in there, but also obviously the sadness, so you go from laughing to crying, and it was so beautifully written.
Thank you.
And the title for me is something I've been dying to tell you, because you did keep it private for so long. Well, we all kind of heard, but that's
right.
all we heard.
You know, when it came out, it had to come out because of the play, because I was going to do A Passionate Woman. And one of the things that upset me last year was that I got no credit as a serious actress. So the life thing is 2 to 5 years, and actually it's nearly 2 years. It will be. So they've sort of done what they set out to do, and it was going really well. So my nose runs. It's not my cocaine habit. And I always forget the tissues. I'm still not quite...
Do you like a tissue?
She's got a tissue. Got a tissue?
Yes.
Just a small one, just a dab delicately.
Yeah. Can't be lazy
as
during
on my
this.
sleeve. And, yeah, what was I saying?
I don't know, I always kind of shut off even when you're on Loose Women.
Oh, yes. By the way, Colleen, she always had to have the last one. She slides them in.
Every time we went to a commercial break, fellas would get the last word.
No, she would. She'd go, and suddenly I had this perforated colon, and suddenly I'm into hospital mode and operations. And that was another chapter I wanted to write, because if you've never been in hospital, God forbid, it's such a shock. Because again, you have to hand yourself over and sort of do what they tell you, and it is all
must have been hard for you.
very hard.
You used to being in charge.
Well, I am, and I woke up there with this strawberry on my stomach. What is this? This is nothing to do. And Michael, bless him, you know, most men would go, and he was amazing and peered at it. A bit fearful at first, weren't you, darling? But, and then I suddenly thought, oh, well, now we're into poo territory. And we must get this out. People must not be embarrassed. And it's the second biggest killer, you know, and actually, unfortunately, in a lot of cases, the minute you're diagnosed, it's too late. And I knew I was stage 4 15 months ago. So it was quite hard when people said, oh, your chemo will be finished soon, don't worry.
Lynda, what would you say to people watching about bowel cancer? What would you say? How would you say to people what to watch out for?
Well, the trouble is, it's an age thing. I don't do age doing, but it's breathlessness and indigestion, which are the two things. And when I was doing pantomime at Bradford, that's exactly what happened. And we went to the doctor, and because we're self-employed and you have to look after yourself, I've always had stool tests, I've always gone and been checked up and everything. But unfortunately, this is one, it hides, you know, and I would say get checked up, but the biggest thing, Janet, and you know how if you had put a pound away for a colonoscopy, when you get to 60, they actually do say that's probably the only way of knowing for sure that you have got bowel cancer, and lots of people have cysts, so they snip those off as they're going up, you know, having a little look round. which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And that is the only way. And I would say, don't rush to the internet and look up, you know, all the, because mine came back clear anyway.
Yeah.
So it's all,
And the
you know,
internet, of course, scary to death.
well,
Anyway,
well,
you know,
exactly,
so,
you've
yeah,
gone,
yeah,
haven't you?
yeah,
Look at what they-
absolutely.
So that's the biggest thing. And then as I say, having got through the operation, and in order to have the operation, because of the chemo stops you healing.
Yeah.
So that's why they sort of, well, they delayed it initially. They could have taken it out then, but if I'd had 8 weeks operation time without the chemo, I'd be dead. So you have to, they give you all these things to think about. So I came out of the operation, scar marvellous, gone, scar brilliant. And then I remembered, oh, I've got cancer, I've got to deal with that now. So I went back into cancer mode, and unfortunately that's when it all kind of fell apart. It started to go to months, and then...
Oh, it almost seems unbelievable that she's still not here. I mean, so vibrant, so, that doesn't sound crass, so full of life, wasn't she? Still, 2 weeks to go. That must be very hard, particularly for you two watching that. I mean, we were here that day, but obviously you two much closer to Lynda.